For more on this, let's bring in Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman Biggs, here we go again. It wasn't that long ago at the GOP baseball practice that a nut with a gun tried to unload on Republican lawmakers. We don't exactly know what the motivation is for this, but clearly public servants were the target. I just want to get your thoughts on the idea of entering public service and winding up, having your life threatened.
Yeah, John, there's not a member of Congress that I talked to that hasn't received a credible death threat at some point or another. And we receive routine threats. Some are credible, some are not. I have friends in Congress that they have volunteers who are expert security personnel that will go with them whenever they're in district. And we have others that are paying for private security out of their own money. And this gets back to what you said, the Steve Scalise and shooting up the GOP baseball team for a political purpose. And this looks like it was politically motivated as well, this terrorist attack. And so this is something that we as a nation are going to have to confront. But more particular, there's a reason that the speaker came out a couple months ago and said, hey, you can't do public town halls anymore because the threat is so real. And I personally have done a town hall where we had probably 20, 25 sheriffs, local sheriffs and police personnel there. And that is now, sadly, what political rhetoric has devolved into.
It seems sometimes that you can't improve from, a nadir like this, that it's just never going to get better. Is there a way to fix this, do you think?
Well, it certainly appears to be systemic in our society. And the rhetoric is pretty heated constantly. And, I've always been a believer, you can have heated rhetoric, but you can't cross a line of advocating violence. And some of my colleagues and some people around the country advocate violence against one party or the other. And when you do that, that's when you really have the potential of igniting somebody who's as deranged as this guy apparently was. But as deranged as he was, this looks like a highly planned and an execution of that plan by this gunman here. And so we've got to be careful in Congress, but at some point you got to be able to talk and speak and motivate without crossing a line. And we'll find out from this guy what sent him over the line. But this notion that you're going to call somebody Gestapo or Nazi or he's a monarch, he's a new monarch and needs to be removed, or threatening to say if you see somebody, a cabinet official from the other side, take him out and beat him up, those types of things. They're not talking policy anymore. They're not talking ideology anymore. They're talking violence. And that's where you start crossing the line, in my opinion.
Quick question on what's happening in the Middle East. President Trump gave the Iranians 60 days to come to some kind of an agreement about reducing or eliminating their nuclear program. Israel attacked on day 61. What do you think about the job the president has done here?
The president tried to give space there. President doesn't like war. He wants it to be resolved. But look, you have Iran and their raison d'etre. The reason for their state is to eliminate the state of Israel and then secondarily to eliminate the United States of America. And then they were trying to get nuclear weapons to boot. So that's a real problem as you look at it. And I commend President Trump. He's saying, listen, we're not in for a regime change. What we want to do is we want to get stability and peace in the Middle East. And that's where he is. And that's why he's issuing the threat. Don't come after U.S. Personnel, U.S. infrastructure, because then we would have to retaliate. Right now, we're offering defensive backup to Israel. And that's a good defensive strategy.
Congressman Andy Biggs, Republican of Arizona. Congressman, thank you.
Thanks, John.